Welcome to the Hired Not Fired podcast, brought to you by The Real Me, the soft skills first talent solution that helps employers hire entry-level employees with better developed soft skills, such as communication, problem solving, or emotional intelligence. Join us as we sit down with hiring managers, talent leaders, and others and get insider tips to help Gen Z stand out and get hired. Let's dive in. Hey there, welcome to Hired Not Fired. I'm Dr. Deb Samuels-Peretz, Vice President of Learning and Development at The Real Me. And I have with us Meredith Trotta has come back to share more insights about getting hired. Welcome back, Meredith.
Thank you so much.
Meredith is a global university relations professional, writer, and thought leader for building early career talent pipelines and organizations. Starting her career in college admissions, Meredith moved to corporate university relations, working for Time Inc. in New York City. She ran her own consulting business before returning to corporate at Equifax and her current company, Veeam Software, where she built their university hiring programs. Meredith, last episode, when you were here, you told us about the exciting internship program that you have at Veeam. So what I'd like to do now is dive in a little bit. You said you make hires for full-time positions to the interns that are successful. What are some of those signs of success? So, and not, a lot of the listeners, they're going to have an internship, hopefully, and maybe they had one. What are some of the things they can do to stand out and get noticed while they're in an internship?
Internships are a great opportunity to move into a full-time job. Everyone knows that, right? Getting the internship is key. Even if you don't end up at that company, it just gets you to that next step. But while you're in that internship, you really have the opportunity. You have so many opportunities, honestly. We can start with the work that you're doing for your manager. Something that I like to tell all people, whether they're interns or junior people, is that the best way to get noticed and to get ahead is be really good at your job. Because a lot of people say, how do I this? How do I that? I go, no, no, no. Right now, you just have to be really good at your job. So that means you have to learn, you have to contribute, you have to participate, you have to show up with ideas. And you have to show up with, and you have to know that your voice matters. We don't bring interns in, only to train them. We want you guys to like right away see something, notice something, bring your insights, bring your skills. Bring your worldview, bring your perspective. Like, that's dumb. Why are you doing it that way? So, we welcome sort of interns to disrupt and to talk about what we could do better because they will notice it. So, really, the biggest thing I can say is that don't be passive, don't sit back, sit like this, be excited, take notes, ask questions, and then know that you should speak up in meetings for sure. That's in the role. And if we're going to just talk about that, you should also know that you don't have to wait until you're 3 to 5 years into your career to have impact. Everyone can have impact, even interns have impact. They've had impact on our company. This past year, one of our interns was working on a code. Now it's not the details, but whatever code he created, they implemented it.
Wow.
Within weeks of him being here. So it wasn't even at the end of his internship.
Yeah.
So if you see something, fix it. If you want to make something better, make it better. The worst thing you can do is be passive. You want to use that time valuably. The other opportunity for you, and now I'm going on and on, is with the university team. They're going to offer you programs. They're going to offer you ways to meet other people, ways to meet other interns, ways to meet professionals, um, events, learnings. Go and be fully present and fully focused. Do not sit back. And the more you jump in and be yourself and come fully present, like that's the kind of stuff that we notice. We notice authenticity. We notice true passion. We notice people who are nice to other people. We notice we in that internship program, if there's a couple of people who are in, feeling like over here, and we see someone bring them in, we notice that. And those are the kind of people we want to work at our company.
Yeah, collaboration versus competition, right?
100%.
Meredith, you've been doing this for a while, so I have to ask you, do you have any funny stories or about just some crazy things that happened during either the recruiting part, interviewing?
Yeah. Yeah, so I always this is probably the biggest example I can get because you can tell I have a lot of energy and I'm very passionate about things. But one of the biggest examples I can get about how you get hired is honest having authentic passion. I know I've said those things many
Mhm,
times, but let me try to explain it for you. I remember having two people apply to the same role, and it was back in the days of magazines.
mhm,
And they were both exceedingly qualified. I mean, their quantitative skills, their resumes, their leadership on campus. I mean, both of them were amazing. And we just sat there going like, how are we ever going to decide between these two candidates? So when they came back, I asked them each the same question, which is, what do you think about magazines? And one person said a very clinical, good answer about magazines.
mhm.
And then the other person said, "Oh, I love them. I subscribe to this one and I get this one and I this and I when the little thing falls out, I fill it out and I just want to get the free one." And I it was clear that this person loved magazines.
Mhm,
So the key to this information is not to pretend that you like things. It's to apply for jobs that you like in industries that excite you. So if you
mhm.
think software is the coolest thing in the world, we're going to be able to tell. If you just are like, yeah, I guess I can work in Veeam and software, whatever, we can also tell that too.
Yeah.
So it's really important to strategize your job search and where you give effort towards things that you're truly authentically excited about working.
Mhm. That's great. And any other places that they can, get that in-person experience besides career fairs? And you said you do some events during the year?
Yeah, there's definitely some events. I mean, the unpopular take, but your career centers at your universities are incredible. Another great story that I would tell you is because few students will actually show up, they get to know you really well if you show up, and we also know them. So if we had a last minute internship that open up in, April and they're supposed to come in May, we go, what the heck? We'll reach out to our network and say, who's looking? Who do you see? And they, oh, we have this great guy, this great woman. You got to talk to them. And then we'll talk to them. So they will have just tons of events and offerings that can help you while you're in
Mhm,
university. And then your professors, talk to your professors. I mean, literally, I have three kids who've been in college, and I think that they learned this, last semester, senior year. But if you're a freshman or a sophomore or a junior, and you are hearing my words, talk to your professors, get to know them. They have people who they know in the industry. And if I get a call from a professor that says, Meredith, I want you guys to consider this person for an internship, top of the pile.
yeah. Actually, that's very wise advice. And I remember back in the day when I first started college, okay, that was as my kids would say, back in the dinosaur days. And my older brother, one piece of advice he gave was every semester, go to office hours to meet your professors. Doesn't matter if you don't have a question, come up with a question, but go there, meet them in person. And that
Yep.
was probably the most valuable advice that I got.
Yep, and they're doing research and working with companies. So you're just going to expand your network. And I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, all this information boils down to one thing, which is like, I guess maybe there's two things. Be authentic, get yourself out there.
Mm-hmm.
Show up in a way that you can have conversations with people. And conversations, even if someone gives you 10 minutes of an informational conversation, that could lead to you having a conversation with somebody else, and that could lead to a job. So you have to be talking and you have to be putting yourself out there.
Right. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you get doing it, right?
Absolutely. And another thing, just for anyone who's listening who thinks, well, this Meredith has a lot of energy and she's a big personality and I'm just not like that. Don't worry. That's
Mm,
the world is not built on people with my personality type. The world is built on a diverse group of people who have different skills. And if you're a little bit more reserved, that's okay. You can show up as you are. You just have to show up.
thank you so much, Meredith.
Yes.
And listeners, here you had it. Great advice. Go out there and show up.